Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tony's Reading Realm. I was kind of wondering how I was going to do my first video. I have done a couple shorts, but this is my first true video. So I figured that making a tier list and also kind of going over the history um, of my journey through fantasy and kind of give you guys, you know, a quick recap. So I'm going to do everything, all the fantasy books that I've read up to. Um, this is July of 2024, so I'll probably revisit this again next summer and see how things have changed. So, really quickly, you can see that I've read the Harry Potter series. That was kind of my maiden voyage into fantasy. And then I did the Hunger Games and then kind of went into the more adult fantasy. So, let's go ahead and get into this. The tiers. Top tier is I can't wait to read it again. Second tier is worthy of a second read. Third tier was a solid read. Um, the next one is good to read once. And then the last one, which I will only have one book in this that I actually did not finish. So we will start with the very first Harry Potter, The Sorcerer's Stone. And that one is going to go to worthy of a second read. I've read all of the Harry Potter books multiple times. I was fortunate enough to get to have to wait uh, for the release of each book. So before each release, I reread the series. So um, the Chamber of Secrets, I'm also going to put worthy of a second read, and Prisoner of Azkaban. Goblet of Fire will also go there. And actually, I guess I need to put these in the order here. Goblet of Fire is definitely going to go to the top of worthy of a second read, and then probably I feel like the books got better with each release. Um, Order of the Phoenix is my favorite one, so that's going to go to the top. And then next, the Half-Blood Prince, I'm going to put after the Order of Phoenix. And then the Deathly Hallows, I will probably put third. And then from there, I kind of switch gears to another fantasy series, or young adult fantasy series, I guess I should say. And with the Hunger Games, I will probably put this maybe after Goblet of Fire. And then Catching Fire, I also enjoyed. So I'm going to put that ahead of the first one. And then Mockingjay, I absolutely could not stand. And then from there, I was one of those people that watched Game of Thrones, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to read the books. So I read the first book, and it was great. And the second book was also great. The third book, I feel like, was the strongest one. So Storm of Swords goes to the top of Can't Wait to Read Again, and I actually have not read any of those books again yet. And then Feast of Crows, I actually did not finish. So I didn't even bother to get the book after that, A Dance with Dragons. But at some point in the near future, I am going to try to reread that whole series. I've heard that A Feast for Crows is better after you've, on a second read. And then Fire and Blood, the prequel to all of those. I enjoyed it. I did it on audiobook. It was the first big novel that I did for an audiobook. So it was cool to see all the backstory and all of that. So that was a nice solid read. And then I went on a reading slump for several years. And then I read Mistborn, which I'm going to put probably here. The Final Empire. And then I read I'm trying to do everything in the correct Cosmere order. So those of you that have done YouTube videos on that, thank you for that. I'm trying to do everything in the right order. The 11th Metal, a short story. Good to read once. Well of Ascension, I'll probably put here. It was another really good read. Hero of Ages, I'm going to put at the top of worthy of a second read. And I'm trying to do this without spoilers, so I'm not talking about each book on purpose. Um, and I feel like if I do start talking about books, I'll accidentally spoil something. Elantris, a lot of people don't like that. I felt like it was a solid read. Um, Hope of Elantris, good to read once. It's kind of like the ending of Elantris from a different point of view. The Emperor's Soul, a lot of people. Actually, I'm going to move Mockingjay to the bottom. That will probably be my worst rated book that I actually finished. The Emperor's Soul, a lot of people really like this. Did not vibe with me. So that's going to go near the bottom of good to read once. And then I finally got to The Way of Kings, which I'm going to put, I will put this up here probably after the Game of Thrones. I'm currently in the middle of Oathbringer, so if you're wondering why I don't have Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, I'm in the middle of Oathbringer, trying to get all these Oathbringer and Rhythm of War done before the fifth book is released at the end of the year. Warbreaker, I really enjoyed. I'll put that at the top of worthy of a second read. Words of Radiance, a lot of people like this one better than A Way of Kings. I disagree. So I'm going to put that after A Way of Kings. And then I had to go through a palate cleanse because I had just burned through, several Sanderson books. So I went to Joe Abercrombie and the First Law trilogy, which was great. I cannot wait to read all of these again. The first one I feel is the weakest one, and it's still a great book. It's just you get to know all the characters and everything. And then the second book just takes off. So I will put this one maybe after Words of Radiance. And then the third book I felt like was the strongest one. I'll put this one between A Way of Kings and Words of Radiance. And then I was not quite ready to jump into Words of Oathbringer yet. So I read one more series, which is going to completely disrupt the can't wait to read again. So Malice, I absolutely enjoyed. A lot of people said that's the weakest one of the series, and I really enjoyed it. So I went ahead and read the second one. I feel like the second one was better than the first one. And then I feel like the third one, Ruin, is probably the weakest of the series. So I'm going to put this one here. And even though it's the weakest of the series, it is definitely not a bad book. I think it's just kind of getting everything in place for the final book, Wrath, which was absolutely amazing. And I know that there's another series that kind of takes place in the same world of those, so I'm looking forward to reading those books. And then I got back into the Cosmere with Brandon Sanderson. So Sixth of Dusk was a solid read. I'll put that at the bottom. And then Edge Dancer, I really did not care for. I'm going to put that below The Emperor's Soul. So I'm over halfway through Oathbringer. That will probably go somewhere up in the can't wait to read again. This is my tier list so far as of July 2024. I have all kinds of books that I have ready to go and ready to read. My TBR list is getting longer and longer. But if you have any suggestions on what to do, put them in the comments below, and we'll see what happens with this channel. I'm not going to be posting regularly because I am a middle school band director and my schedule gets really crazy. So we'll see what happens. So until next time, this is Tony's Reading Realm. Happy reading, guys.